Hey fam!
It is Bibiana and
Sam
and Bibi, and today we're excited to come to you with a couples conversation video, which I always have my hubby here with me for. And in these videos we talk about everything from love, relationships and marriage, of course. And today's video topic we're going to be discussing
about marriage meeting. Very important.
Very important.
Yeah, so we're going to go over what is a marriage meeting, why do you have them, what are the benefits of having them, and how do you execute them, and also the 7-point agenda.
And what sparked this video idea was on our recent meeting. I did a quick post on my story just before the meeting started, because we try not to have any phones at our meetings, and then afterwards when I logged back onto my phone, I had so many questions about what was going on, what are you guys doing, a meeting, what is that about, because I think it looked super formal.
Yeah, exactly.
It was such a quick post, just like our computers out and Sam was looking super serious. And yeah, so I just went back and forth in the DMs just explaining what we did, and I kind of got the gist that a lot of people didn't know what it was about or were confusing it with like date night and other things. So we thought we'd share with you what we do, because obviously on this channel we're sharing our journey of faith, of marriage and of parenting with a young and growing family, and with that give you an insight on how we do things to try and be intentional in our home, in our marriage, and hopefully you can incorporate those things that you find helpful to improve your home and marriage. To start, we're going to talk about what a marriage meeting is and why we have one.
Yeah, so basically it's an intentional meeting that is focused really on developing your marriage. You know, it keeps us connected, you know, emotionally, physically, intellectually and spiritually, because it's very easy, especially if you have busy schedules, you know, you're married with children, you know, you both work and you have very busy lives. It's very easy to kind of drift slowly, where you become like ships passing in the night.
A great marriage doesn't just happen. It's a result of hard work and being intentional. I believe, you know, by us having these kind of meetings, as we're going to share with you soon, you're going to see how we feel they've helped us set us up for the week going forward to get on a better foot. Right, so we're going to jump into talking about like the how do you prepare for a meeting, what kind of guidelines do you follow just to make sure everything is executed well. So one thing we would suggest is having the meeting weekly. That's kind of like what we try and work with, and try and have it around the same time each week, just so it becomes more like a habit. And obviously schedules change, so you can move things around, but if you try and aim for that as a goalpost, I think find a lot more benefit from it.
Yeah, and the other one is meet as just the two of you. You know, I used to get this wrong early on because I wanted to maximize time with my wife and the kids, so I'd be like
multitasking.
Yeah, exactly. Kill two birds with one stone. The kids are here during the meeting, and the thing is, it's quite distracting.
We try and do it maybe around the kids' nap time or on the weekend, or when they're in clubs or something like that and we have time together. That is the best time to do it. And now for the main part, I guess, which is what actually happens in the meeting. Which I get asked, Sam, Bibi, what do you guys discuss?
What are the secrets?
What's the agenda of the meeting? So I've actually got it here because we try and make sure we keep on track. We have 7 key points that we try and cover in each meeting, or 7 key things that we do in each meeting, which I'm going to share all of them with you. I would say it's important to actually, follow this in order, right?
Yeah, there's a reason why.
Yeah, hopefully you'll see why I'm saying it in this order, and I would encourage you to do it in this order as well, but obviously see what works for you. First thing we do is prayer, and that's us just committing the meeting to God. You know, anytime you try and do anything, in this case, which is us being intentional and trying to improve our marriage, you bet the enemy's out there trying to kill, steal and destroy it. So we just find it's a great way to get our hearts in the right place. You know, marriage is a threefold cord. Make sure we're bringing God into it. And then the truth is, there's going to be some things said that might be a little, might touch a little nerve. Yeah,
or be sensitive. You know, you don't know how you're going to react to that. And the way we see it is like, you know, where our heart is as Christians is, you know, we commit everything to God, and then God kind of takes care of the rest. We don't know how the meeting is going to pan out. You know, there might be some revelation that comes out of it, you know, that we weren't initially planning, and that has happened a few times. You know, so this is like a big project you guys are doing together, and who better to have alongside you than God himself? So that's really where our heart is with the prayer.
Exactly. And we kind of just take it in turns. One person prays at a meeting, you know, both of us do it. But
don't need to speak in tongues or nobody needs to get anointed, no need to get the oil out or the prayer closet, the prayer cloth, that kind of stuff.
Why do you have to go there, baby? Why do you have to go there? The next step, and I guess This is how we really just start off the meeting, is expressing appreciation for each other. And why do we start there, baby? Why don't I start with the problems?
Because you need to start on a positive note. The whole point of the meeting is to come from a place of oneness and unity. You know, it's me and you against the world. That's my ride or die chick. You know, so you want to be positive.
You're really just expressing gratitude for something your spouse has done that week. And if you're someone who struggles to think about something to be grateful for that your spouse has done, one thing that I do is definitely making sure I write down things, jot it down in a journal, just because I tend to forget. And then you come to the meeting and you kind of like, what have you done again? But he does so much. I know he does so much. It's easy for us to take things for granted. And it's not about making it like general. It's not just like saying, thanks for being a great husband. Thanks for being a great wife. It's really a great moment to be specific. So I could be like, oh, thank you, babe, for removing the ice from my car. So when I was driving the kids to school, I was literally like running out the house and I saw like everyone's cars were frosted over. I was about to run in the house to scrape it, and then the kids were like, oh, it's already done. I was like, what? And I realised my husband had already done it for me.
Got pounded yam that night.
But you know, it's easy to forget that, and even that moment I made sure I jot it down because that just made me feel so good. Obviously say it in the moment as well. I called him on the way to work to thank him, but that's another thing I would bring up in the meeting. Just say, thank you, babe, thank you for that. Thank you for, you know, standing up for me in that situation with the in-laws. Just thank you for helping me out with the children, putting them to bed that night, even though maybe it wasn't your turn. Like, what would you...
Exactly. The other thing is to keep 100% positive. You know, the time for issues is later on. So yeah, no no backhanded stuff.
No backhanded compliments.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh wow, thanks for clearing up for yourself for once. You know, that kind of thing. Oh wow, you actually put your clothes in the laundry basket for once. Thank you for that. That kind of stuff is...
Don't say it like that.
Yeah, like positive stuff is, you know, I really appreciate when I come home and I'm greeted with a kiss. You know,
I feel like you're waiting for that one.
It really means a lot to me after a long day in traffic or at work, just to come home and, you know, you meet a smile from your beautiful wife and your kids happy to see you, which, you know, I'm always so thankful for. So I bring that up in the meeting.
The next thing we bring up is finances, and this is the money talk.
Show me the money. So we have like a bigger meeting. We tend to be like at the end of the month to go, you know, in depth into finances. But the weekly stuff is kind of like to check in. You know, like I was going through the joint account. What's this? £300 for some nails? What's that about? No, but
we've actually done a video of how we manage our finances quite in depth, so I'll definitely link that video as well. But yeah, like Sam said, in this meeting it's literally just, anything change with the finances, any queries, honey? And he might just be like, no, it's fine. I'll be like, moving on. Or it might just be a case of, oh, I've noticed, you know, the budget for groceries, we've already eaten into like 80% of it, and we're only in the first week. And, you know, that might just be a time to just reevaluate the budget a little bit quickly there and then, rather than waiting till the end of the month and be hit with a huge surprise.
The whole point is, it's better to check in on the finances once a week and nip any potential problems in the bud before you have like a full-blown financial fiasco on your hands.
And so the next point is to plan for the good times.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
This way you really just plan something to look forward to, that can get you excited. And we all know in marriage it can all start getting a little bit mundane with the day-to-day, and you've now just done the bit where you plan out your schedule and think about things like appointments with doctors and kids activities and what you guys need to do during the week to stay on top of things. And this is something very different. I guess it still goes with the schedule a bit, but this time you're focusing on intentionally thinking, how are you going to have fun? How are you going to live your best life in this marriage, basically? So one thing I would definitely say is schedule in a date night. Now, ideally, everyone knows the ideal is once a week, but let's be real, we know that can be a challenge, especially if you have young kids or like a really hectic schedule. So if you can, maybe once a fortnight, once a month. And remember, it doesn't have to be anything super elaborate. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, going to a fancy restaurant. So tons of ideas we'll be happy to share that we do for home date night ideas. It's hard getting childcare, especially with 3 kids.
And I mean, sometimes it doesn't have to be in the week. It could just be a countdown. You know, like if you have a big family vacation coming up in 2 months.
Or couples vacation.
Yeah, or couples vacation. Yeah, just like do the countdown.
Gives you something to really look forward to as a couple, and can really feed the love language of your spouse, especially if it's quality time.
Yeah, and another one is the individual stuff. you know, I mean, when you guys met, part of the attraction was, you know, what you guys were into or what you guys are capable of doing. Like
As individuals.
Yeah, like man could bench 200 kilos, or she could do a marathon, you know, or he could swim laps. And now it's like, if you get in the pool now, you'll drown after half a lap. Doing things individually or with your friends, they energize you, they're part of what attracted you to each other. So it is still important to take those activities.
It's like me time. Do
yeah,
things for yourself.
Exactly. And what we try to do is, when we have a meeting, each spouse should either say one thing in the week that they'd like to do by themselves or with their friends, or suggest to your spouse, oh, you used to do this, why don't you try doing this, you know, that kind of thing.
Try not to lose yourself in marriage, basically. And things you used to do and you used to enjoy doing, because that's even what, like Sam said, attracted you to each other in the first place.
Guys, you cannot take your passport and disappear to Vegas for 10 days. That doesn't count. Yeah, individual things, things with your friends, they do energize us, you know, and then we could come back and you want your spouse to be energized and lively.
Like self-care activities.
Yeah, exactly. And that is not selfish, like add some excitement to the meeting and generally to life. Yeah, you know, because you don't want to like hold your tongue and say, oh,
you don't mention the fact that you want a date night, or you don't mention the fact that you want that self-care me time. Yeah. Or you don't mention to me, oh, I really wanted to go to that football game or to hang out with the boys. And what do you think that would lead to? Yeah, and in the end, you just resent each other, wouldn't you? Definitely. And you'd just be like chilling. Maybe he dropped something. You'd be like, why did you do that? Like, blow up. And he doesn't know that you've just been a bit annoyed because you haven't had your date night in like 2 months. And that's what you really wanted. And it sows those seeds. You know, don't give the enemy a foothold. Those kind of things. So it's very important. Plan for the fun times together as a family. You know, individually. It's my favourite part for me. Yeah. Alright, so now for, I guess this is almost the end of the agenda for the meeting, and we saved this one for last, is because this is now about discussing any problems or concerns that you have. And the reason why I said watch the order we're doing this in is hopefully you can tell that we start off with appreciation, and you know, by now your spouse is feeling very appreciated. You probably filled them up with lots of gratitude and words of affirmation. You've also gone through your schedule. You're probably feeling a little bit less frazzled and frantic, and the mental load has gone down now because you've discussed your schedule, and also you've planned for some really fun times. So you're both hopefully in a really good place to now handle the rough stuff. Yeah. Scotch. Might be time you need a stronger drink. So this is now the time to discuss, like I said, any problems or concerns you have, but do it obviously from a place of love, and come with your list with how do I say it, a heart to receive as well, and also an idea of how you want to contribute and improve things, rather than just being like, I'm ready to let loose and tell you everything I'm unhappy about. I've been waiting for this. And yeah, exactly. This is some people's favourite time of the meeting. It doesn't work like that. No. But bear in mind, like I said, the first meeting might take a little longer because you have a longer list. But I would say try and prioritise the most important things first, the urgent things first, and then think maybe we can leave the rest till the following meetings. But obviously this is now the time to talk. We've had videos before where we talked about conflict resolution, and one of the most important things to help with that is communication. You know, tell your spouse how you feel, what's concerning you, and this can be anything. I think for me personally, one thing I used to do that wasn't good was that I didn't used to bring stuff up. So maybe I'd let it linger for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and when I did bring it up, you'd be like, where's that? Yeah, where did that come from? You know, it's like, why didn't you tell me when it happened? You know, and at the time I was just like, you know, it's not my style. But I found it so beneficial to just bring it up and deal with it. The examples could be anything, like from faith, you know, like if you're having issues with the church you're attending, or if you're having issues with your own personal faith journey as well. Yeah, exactly. Great time to discuss it with your spouse. Yeah. Sex. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh man, switch the camera off. We need to talk. No, but it's true. It can be that as well. Just be honest. Maybe it's anything in intimacy that's concerning you, the frequency, maybe it's too much, too little. Bring it up and discuss a way to move forward and make sure you're both happy. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Other things are like with the children, you know, like
sometimes we can take sides. Like if one person disciplined the children, it was like, why didn't you back me up when I was disciplining the children? It's very important for your children to see the oneness that you have, so they don't instinctively try to play you off against each other.
Like in-laws.
Yeah,
big one.
yeah, exactly. It's like your parents have come around so much, or we've gone over to see your parents, or when we go to your parents, we do
siblings.
this and that. Yeah, exactly.
What about my family? I would like you to see my family more.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're going to the other in-laws' house more.
Yeah, exactly. Or like one spouse is always late for stuff. That kind of thing. You know, you just think, oh, we're in a rush. Okay, we'll deal with it later. It's really good just to go over it weekly. You know, what you want to do is discuss why the last week didn't go very well, and talk about things that are in the way, that are stopping your relationship, your family from progressing. You know, you're speaking the truth and love to each other.
Exactly.
This is my spouse that loves me and they want to build me up. I want to build my spouse up. And part of it is going through the sensitive issues and the conflicts.
And it could be especially around seasons like holiday seasons, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, or significant events that you might want to discuss whose house are we going to go to. And it's important to have those conversations, because you don't want to have resentment later on when, you know, that event comes and you just feel like it wasn't something that was addressed.
So after everyone's in a good mood, then you deal with some of the strong issues.
Exactly. And definitely check out our video. We actually had one on how we handle conflict in marriage.
Yeah.
Alright, so now for the last and final thing on the agenda, and this one's just a real fun activity, and that is our memory verse challenge. So this is one that we do just to keep each other accountable, to make sure that we're, you know, learning scripture, not just reading it, but making sure we start remembering it in our heart. Just like we encourage our children to, we want to make sure we're leading by example, doing the same thing. So each week we set each other a challenge for a verse to learn for that week, and then we kind of ask each other the following week. So obviously if it's your first meeting, that's probably just where you set the memory verse for that week and you pick each one for your spouse. You can pick a few verses if you want, just don't make it too long, because, you know, remember they have to memorize it and recite it afterwards. So should we do our one now, love?
Okay, let's do it.
Alright, so we're going to find Sam's. So Sam's verse, memory verse for this week was 1 Corinthians 13:13.
Oh man, come on, that's a classic. And of these things 3 remain: faith, hope and love, and the greatest of these is love.
Well done, baby.
Yay! And yours is Ecclesiastes 4:12.
Though one can be overpowered, 2 can withstand. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken.
Oh wow, good, love. But according to the New King James Bible, no, that was good. Well done, baby.
Thank you.
Temptation, guys. You cannot keep going back to women submit to your husband as unto the Lord. That's what I wanted to do every week. So yeah, we're not going to use the Bible as, you know.
No, we're not. It was just a bit of fun. But yeah, pick any scripture. If you're struggling with ideas of ones to pick, I'll list some of our favorite ones down below. But you know, it's just a nice little one to do with each other, and it's a nice way to end the meeting as well. Yeah,
and it contributes to spiritual growth.
Definitely.
Which is important.
Definitely. Alright, so that's it for this video, and I'm going to leave you, hubby, to do the outro.
Oh.
You on the spot.
That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and please be sure to like, share and subscribe.
And comment.
Oh, and comment.
We'll continue the conversation down below as well. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
And we'll see you on the next video.
Definitely see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Take